Today I fucked up by drinking too much and turning into a monster. I'm generally quite shy and a harmless person. I'm at uni and go out drinking pretty regularly. Everything was all good and fun until last night. My friend, I'll call her Emily, knew two friends that were going out. She asked if I could join and invited the three of us to her block. We had a good time drinking and sitting on the scaffolding outside her room. We were planning to go to a nice club after, but last entry was 11:30 and they felt like chatting a little longer, so they said we'll go to one closer and shuts later. I don't like that club and I was a bit tired by that point. They kept talking about their ski trip that I didn't do. So I was thinking of calling it a night and go home, but at that moment security came knocking saying there was a noise complaint and also said we're not meant to sit on the scaffolding. I've had a fair few drinks already and was quite annoyed when they were taking our names. After they left they said we should get going. Of course I was not remotely in the mood after all that. But in a stupid combination of tipsy impulse and trying to not calling it quits and ruining the night for everyone, I grabbed the bottle of vodka sitting on the desk, about a quarter full, and downed it. At that point Emily was completely gone. She threw up out the window and they got her in bed. It was clear we weren't going out. I don't remember much what happened after, only a blur of getting in a taxi, throwing up, squatting by the bus stop because I was too tired to move, people asking if I was okay. I slipped on mud and dislocated my knee a few months ago, another time in a toilet and it still hadn't fully healed. I must have fallen over at some point and once it happened I was stumbling and it went downhill from there. So when I was on the ground at the bus stop my knee was killing me. I was so powerless I couldn't get up until a lot later. By then there was nobody around me anymore. I practically crawled home and crashed into my bed, knocking over everything in my path. I woke up to a basically unmovable left leg, patches of scratched skin on my right knee and palm that was like a pool of dried blood. My right ankle gone as well. I didn't want to wake up like this, tried to sleep again hoping it would heal a bit but not much luck. Had painkillers and limped with my crutches from my last injury to the bus. When I checked my phone I saw a text from Emily. How much from last night do you remember? It felt a bit more solemn than I'd expect from her, but thought she was just hungover and wanted to see if I remembered enough to fill her in. I told her I knew everything up to leaving her room, told her to say I'm sorry to the other two guys I was with. Being the drunk mess I felt bad for them. I was checking in at the hospital when she replied, saying what apparently happened last night. I immediately froze and almost felt like I was having a fever. She said apparently I was making a move on one of her friends, insulted the other, and slapped her in the face when she was in bed. I was so shocked I couldn't react when the receptionist asked me about my injury. I told her I hoped she was joking and was really sorry about what happened. She went on to talk about how annoyed she was and how she felt guilty with the other two. I apologized 10 more times and said I had no idea it went that way, but I knew nothing I could say would make any of it okay. I'm still in shock over all this. It has truly been a nightmare and brought me to a new low. I was already struggling socially and with my mental health and I don't have anyone else to talk to. Now my life is crumbling into pieces. She was my best friend and one of my very few friends. I always wondered when we'd have an argument, but this is the last situation I'd want to get into. I don't know how to talk to her anymore and I am devastated. I say with all honesty that is something I can't believe I do. If it wasn't her telling me I wouldn't have believed it. Even when she did I was in full denial. I'm trying really hard to find a perspective that wouldn't lead to the conclusion that I am a disgusting person, but I can't. I never liked myself, but this made me genuinely despise myself for what I've done. My true colors, that being drunk, revealed. The only thing stopping me from feeling any worse emotionally is the overpowering pain from every body part that has been broken. I spent the whole day around hospitals today. I have an exam on Tuesday, but I'm not in any position physically or mentally, and I spent the whole weekend not revising. Bad things have happened to me all the time, but this is one of the only occasions it's all my fault, and I couldn't see it coming at all. I don't think I'll be able to recover from this. Too long did not read. I woke up from a bad night out, kneecap busted once again, feeling stupid that I drank too much and was sick everywhere. Turns out I actually was a massive dick to everyone and slapped my friend when she was hammered and asleep. I've now lost my best friend and can't forgive myself. Chugging hard liquor. I've seen it done and I've done it myself. It never goes well. Lesson learned? You have a drinking problem. You need to do something about it. What my friend group has always referred to this as was creature status. You were a creature. It doesn't make it any better or worse. People must learn to understand the creature to cope with the creature. Always check that the oven is off when a creature is lurking. Former blacker outer here. Next time you will wake up in jail or worse. Nip this in the bud immediately before it gets out of hand and you waste the majority of your 20s altogether. I think that you are an excellent candidate for sobriety. Today I fucked up by telling my girlfriend that a mutual friend passed away in a freak accident while out with friends. This happened last night and the mood is still bad. We were out at separate events, her with her friends, myself at an event with a couple that I know. When I met up with the couple that I had plans with, they said, "Hey, so you remember our friend X, right? Well, he passed away in a freak accident." I'm paraphrasing here, but this was a friend of theirs that had come around a few times while visiting them from out of town. My girlfriend had taken a liking to them, and seemed to enjoy his company, as well as myself, the 3 times we hung out with him. I was extremely shocked, but I wasn't close with him and so I did feel not particularly shook. But saddened, but nothing overly emotional. Fast forward 4 hours later and I've had several drinks before making my way to meet up with my girlfriend and her friends. The only thing I could think about on the way there was how I had to tell her in person about this because the circumstances were so crazy. I show up and it's the second thing to come out of my mouth after cordials. She immediately got very somber and visibly upset. She was held it together for the next 20-30 minutes but she was no longer talking to anyone and then asked to leave the show we were at. I came to find out this reminded her of feelings related to a friend, coworker of hers dying right around the time we met around 2 years ago. The entire time, I could tell I basically ruined her friend's night by telling her this. She's still not really speaking today and seems super depressed. She's supposed to go hang with that same group tonight for a really elaborate birthday party thing and I can tell she's going to cancel. I feel like her friends fucking hate me now, and all I could think about was had I just not said anything until after the show most of this would have been fine. I feel like such a fucking asshole with insensitive timing. She's not upset at me at all but I don't know how to make this situation better now. Not sure what to say to her friends other than to profusely apologize next time I see them as well. Too long did not read. The friend that passed away was only someone we had hung out with a few times and I didn't think at all about this bringing up other bad memories of another friend passing years ago. Drunkenly broke the news in front of her friends at a show. She took it really bad, and now I'm pretty sure they all think I'm an asshole. You did nothing wrong, there is no right time for bringing this kind of news. She may be upset, but, "Don't shoot the messenger" isn't a saying for nothing. It's not about you, and unless you were the freak killing this friend, you should not punish yourself by thinking you are to blame for any part of this. If it makes you feel any better, my partner told me one of my friends, not super friendly as to keep in touch but knew each other, would chat if bumped into each other, did my first tattoos etc., had passed whilst I was laboring on my own with our second child. Tears of joy. In this scenario you need to concentrate on you and your girlfriend supporting each other through the grieving process and assume the friends are thinking of you and hoping you're okay because that's the only thing that they should be thinking. That is how this should go. If it turns out they are actually upset at you, then understand that that's an offense towards you, not the other way around. It's offensive that they would be angry in this situation and you should be offended, not them. Hopefully everybody's acting appropriately though, and I hope you guys are doing okay. You don't need to apologize to her friends. The person who died was not someone close to either of you and you would not expect your girlfriend to have such an extreme reaction. She obviously has not really processed her feelings regarding her friend that died a few years ago. I don't think you fucked up at all. Today I fucked up by cock blocking my own girlfriend. Occasional while I'm asleep I have what I call antics. I don't sleepwalk but I will sometimes do things in my sleep. Whether it be conversations with myself or whatever. Sometimes I am partially aware of what I'm doing but it's more like I think I'm dreaming. Then when I wake up the next day I'll realize it happened. An example of one is about 10 years ago I sat straight up and reached for the book I was reading before bed each night. It was Wizard's First Rule, by Terry Goodkind. Sidebar. Excellent book series if you haven't read it. I took the book and ripped out the dedication page of the book. I then closed it and went back to sleep. Imagine my surprise when I realized I had not been fully dreaming it up. Anyway, to the story. Girlfriend and I are laying in bed after we had some alone time, before we went to sleep. Said our good nights and all that and went to sleep. While sleeping I had rolled over very close to her. She is a very light sleeper so I must have woken her up. She reached over to me and I wrapped an arm around her. I then began rubbing on her with my hand. I won't get into too much detail, but it should be obvious what I'm talking about. I continued to do this for several minutes. Meanwhile, she's getting all hot and bothered and ready for round 2. Then as suddenly as I had started, I stop and roll over, leaving my poor girl just laying there bewildered on what just happened. In the morning I wake up and find out what I had done. She wasn't mad by any means, but there was plenty of jokes. And #X200B. Too long did not read. In my sleep I started getting my girlfriend all hot and bothered, but then I rolled over as if nothing had happened, essentially cock-blocking her. And #X200B. Some other antics I've done. Just for fun. Grabbed her arm in the middle of the night and held on with a death grip, all while whispering to her, "We need to be careful," and then rolling over as if nothing had happened. Gotten up on my hands and knees with my phone light on trying to search for something, all while staring at my pillow. Work-related discussions with myself calling for my cat or dog. At least she can laugh about it. I do similar stuff sometimes. I've initiated business in my sleep too, but my wife is onto my shenanigans and it doesn't get me anywhere. It also causes me anxiety because I'm worried I'll do something inappropriate or say something that will cause issues for me in my sleep. My wife is the same. Her latest one was she woke up, leant over and shushed me loud, then said, "There's a Trex in the garden. I hope it's gone by the morning." The best one was I woke up for work, and she swung her arm over and slammed her hand on my pillow. Seconds after I had sat up. I do the same shenanigans and talking in my sleep and occasionally walking. But my favorite is when I woke up one morning and my girlfriend was all lovey-dovey and I asked her what's up. Apparently, at some point in the morning while she was already awake, I sat in the bed, looked her dead in the eyes for a few seconds, took her hand and kissed it and went back to sleep. Also, I know for a fact I sleepwalked to pee. My sister told me her boyfriend once in the middle of the night sat up and started whistling, then laid back down. In the morning she told him what he did and he was shocked and said, "I don't know how to whistle." Today I fucked up by asking my husband to throw away the condom. Let's first get the relevant but not so relevant stuff out the way. We had sex on the sofa. I went and cleaned up and got dressed. Then came back and sat back on said sofa. My husband had been watching football this entire time, with the used-up condom still on his now retreating dick. One thing one can be sure of about him is that he gets distracted easily and is very lazy post our coital activities, so I, having seen the used, full condom eventually fall off and the components spill out many times before, ask him to go throw it away before that happens. Asking once never does the trick, so I ask again. And again. Now I love my husband very much and his goofiness is one of the things that make me love him so much, but tell me why on earth this man gets up, takes off and ties the condom up, twists it a couple times and, in a flash, before I can even comprehend anything, he slaps it on my thigh like one of those wet towel slaps. The laws of physics happened next and the sheer force of the slap made the contents go everywhere, and I mean everywhere. After a laughter fit we composed ourselves and went in for another cleanup. Too long did not read. Asked my husband to throw away the used condom and he slapped my thigh with it. Edit. Guys. It's hilarious how many of you are clutching your pearls at something so stupid and minute. A singular post-sex moment is not our whole life. Me and my husband are both fully functional, healthy, yes, physically and mentally, and clean human beings 99% of the time. Sorry you guys don't have anyone to be your somewhat gross 1% with. But we are more than happy with our relationship being exactly how it is. I truly wish you guys find someone who accepts you and loves you exactly how you are as well someday. It's really fun. And to all the condom people, yes, we still use condoms even though we're married. Try researching what hormonal birth control does to a woman's body. My big bad gross husband 100% respects me not wanting to fuck up my hormones and deal with the side effects just so he can raw dog it. Your husband is so lazy that the condom just falls off after his dick goes limp. That is really fucking impressive levels of laziness. Take a black light and use it to find places you haven't cleaned. Today I fucked up by reading this post flushed. What the fuck? Went in for another cleanup. Nothing screams seduction like a used condom and 10-minute-old comb.